Yes. So, tell me.
You start.
I start. I'm Jan Duyvendak. I'm a Dutch artist living in Switzerland, now in Marseille, and here in Annecy.
Yes.
I'm Nicole Borgeat. I'm a Swiss director, filmmaker, and I used to work with Jan for a long time.
So you have been working for a long time.
Yeah, we started like 8 years ago, something like that. And this is
10.
the 10. Okay, this is the latest project
Yes.
we're presenting here, which is called SOS Save Our Souls, and it's about defeat.
Uh-huh. So, and also you have different backgrounds, in a way, you have worked with theater and visual arts, and so can you tell a little bit about, the influence of this background in your collaboration and at the same time in this piece?
Well, I think my main influence is about story, because it's storytelling, and I think that's really what I do in this work. It's like I'm trying to edit the material that we can get. I think mostly that's where it's strangely it's not it's more about narrative than about images or about movies or making videos or whatever. And I'm more from the storytelling side.
Yes.
I think what is interesting in working with people who come from different backgrounds is that the way you approach the material is always very different, and that you don't look at it from the same point of view, and so you get already. I mean, this is of course the case with everybody you would talk with, but it's specifically interesting when you have people from different disciplines who try to problematize a subject. So I love always to work with people who come from different backgrounds.
Yes, and how is this work fitting in your both the developments of your careers or your growth as creators? It has a lot of audience participation. A lot of this kind of structural storytelling. A lot of things that seems like emerge on the fly as the people is participating. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Well, it's really a natural development from what we've been doing before. The piece we've been doing before this one is called Made in Paradise, and it's about Islam and the West. And there is already the audience is already with us on stage. There is no separation, and they vote for the different scenes, if you want, the different fragments that they want to see. And there were two moments that were really interesting us a lot, which was, at one hand, there is a moment in that piece where people take over the power totally. We give them the power. They can answer a question which is, what do you know about Islam, for 10 minutes. We don't say anything.
Yeah.
So we don't have any control about what's happening, which is really very exciting and very scary for us. And it was something that was really interesting for us. Then the other thing that's really interesting in Made in Paradise at the end is that the people take the space that we've been building all together, they take it as their agora. It really becomes a place where they talk together without us. They stay, they're there, they're feeling comfortable, and they want to go on talking about the piece with the people they met during the piece. And that were two things that we wanted to take over in SOS and take it more into deeper layers or more radical layers.
Yeah, almost like this kind of social encounter, there is this performative aspect of the relational aspect and the social way.
Definitely.
Yes, and and how that fits in your work, in this collaboration, that aspect that is, participatory, and were you working with that before, or this came
I
as
think we're much more now about letting go than we were before. Because before we were really on, how do you say, maîtrise?
Mastering,
on mastering,
control.
control, and so it's more like about accepting that. Yeah, it's more about accepting whatever can happen, and it's kind of a real exercise. For me, to start with, but I think for everybody for every actors, for every performers.
Yeah. I saw a lot of like a game structure, you know, in a way. I, you know, felt that it was this social game or theater game that, but also, you know, problematizing a little bit the frontality, or, you know, there's these images that happen in the front, but the audience is sitting in, you know, in this case, in the chairs, you know, kind of audiencing, and then there's people in between and walking in the aisles. And so, can you tell a little bit about the structure that is different than your latest piece before this one?
This piece is a kind of classical setting with an audience on the stage, but there's just nothing happening on the stage, and actually people who are sitting in the first row have the worst places.
Yeah.
And then it's not so much, it's a game of course, but what we did is that we took a metaphor of capitalism that I don't remember where we got it from, but it's a very nice metaphor, very efficient.
Have it around.
Yeah.
What do you mean, the metaphor of the capital?
Yes.
Well, it's because we start to work on failure, and then we realize that failure was not an issue that we can work with, because it's so difficult to fail. I mean, failing on stage, what is the meaning of failing on stage? We try to fail, but people say, oh, it's nice. No, but that was a failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we decided, okay, we have to work it the other way around. We have to work it, and it was also, I think, at the beginning, the idea of, I mean, like, to succeed is, I mean, is
in the performance context, it's a very interesting idea, because normally you come to see things that succeed. You know, at the same time it's like a paradox. You know, you can show something, but you have to be successful in showing the failure.
Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah, it's a paradox.
Yeah.
But no, what I was aiming at is the paradox, is the metaphor of the structure of the first part of the piece, let's say, which is the structure. The metaphor of capitalism is that everybody knows the rules. Not everybody can play, and everybody, those who play and those who do not play, are suffering, or at least resenting the consequences of the game. Right? And so we use this to build the structure of the piece. There are 10 people who get elected to be the VIP. They decide what is going to happen during the night. But they're punishing us when they cut us. They're being punished by the audience because the audience isn't happy. And they're all the time kind of stressed because they're responsible for something they didn't want to be responsible of. And we're totally stressed because if we're too much cut, it's a failure. If we're not cut enough, the structure is a failure as well. So it's this whole hyperstructure that becomes really this kind of controlling thing that we are all hostages in.
Yeah. Well, kind of where we are.
yeah.
Yes. And when was this premiere?
This was September 2010.
Okay.
Last year in Bordeaux.
In Bordeaux. And how do you feel like the piece keeps growing, or do you fix it, or try to make different things?
Yeah, I think we fixed it a lot at the beginning, because it was so hard to rehearse a piece that is a participative one. But I mean, like, you don't have the audience, so we did a lot of try-out. But even with a lot of try-out, I mean, like, we were very surprised by where people can go. I mean, and so we have to we fixed a lot of things. But I think now we are kind of like quiet with the structure, and I mean, we encounter like most situations. Maybe not tonight. We're gonna have something completely new, but
yeah. You know, I actually love the poster. It has like this very nice Jesus legs, and what it has to do with religion in a way, because it has like this very intense metaphor of image of you know, kind of how to save ourselves.
And all the images have this little SOS post-it on it. And we actually asked the photographer to put himself into situations where he was being in danger. So, or at least in a stressful situation where he wasn't in his normal state of mind where you usually would make pictures. So there's also an image, for example, of a little baby, which is actually his own child, 3 minutes after she was born.
Wow.
And so he had to take a picture because that was what he wanted to do for our project. So that was the way we worked on it with the photographer, and it's for us trying to aim a little bit the different parts in society where we're actually lost, where things used to give answers and don't give them anymore. Not saying that is right or wrong, but just okay, the helplessness that our society puts us in.
Yeah, or perhaps like you know, just being human, you know, in a way, you know, because I see it this, you know, in a way that some of the things that I've been told is, you know, this almost failure, then you ask for salvation, or you know, try to see how you solve this mess into that we are right now. How do you relate then this, you know, the piece, just to close, with a little bit of the crisis that we are living in the world right now?
Wow, that was the starting point. Just the starting point.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but to say that this crisis is not an economical crisis, it's more it's a different crisis, and so that's what we try to make, like, also with the two parts of the piece. So first you have the system, and then you have what you have under the system, underneath, under the ice. I like it very much,
Well,
this image of...
Well, thank you very much. You know, can you believe this is 11 minutes?
Wow, no!
Yes.
So you're gonna cut.
No, I think it's really great. So we will have some images of the show, and that I will go in and get some images. And well, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
Lots of luck.